The Padres have met with Trea Turner twice, and with Bryan Reynolds requesting a trade from the Pirates, should Preller strike? We'll talk about all of that and more today on Padres Talking Padres. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Padres Talking Padres. My name is Jay, and my Padre next to me is Jack. Jack, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. You start out so professional in the beginning.
Yeah.
I guess that was pre-recorded.
That was pre-recorded, exactly. That's
okay. So maybe you should pre-record your whole conversation. That way you don't.
I find the mistakes. It's kind of like a Saturday Night Live situation, a Jimmy Fallon, if you will, where people enjoy when you flub or
they like when Jimmy Fallon laughs.
Exactly, when he breaks or whatever.
When he breaks his character, yeah, which is every time. But
so this is a special. There's so many rumors swirling. It's winter meetings weekend. It's this weekend, right? In San Diego.
No, it starts tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. And some big, deals have been done. We've been waiting. Like Win Can has a big move, and DeGrom went to Texas yesterday, which
I just literally almost fell out of my seat when I heard that. I go, because he's a great pitcher. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
When he's healthy, he's a great pitcher. But 5 years, $185 million, and there's an option for a 6-year to make it $221 million.
Oh, no trade.
I hope I'm wrong, because he seems like a good guy, and he's a great talent, and he's fun to watch. I say there's no way he goes all 5 years with being healthy.
I agree.
You don't. When you get older, and you may find this out someday, when you get older and you start having injuries, you don't just bounce back.
Here's the thing, Jack. I'm older than Jacob DeGrom. That's how it works in baseball. Okay, let's say hello to the chat. We got Ralph is here, Casino Skunk Productions.
Cranky Angel fan.
He's on the verge. He is waiting for Artie to sell a team. He is not a fan until Artie sells.
If you're a diehard fan, I had many bad owners in every team I rooted for, Spanos, and I still rooted for those teams when they were in San Diego.
Different. Everyone's
I don't care. I just don't. I can't respect you.
Ryan Diaz in the chat, Silent Heroes. You're telling me I have to try to like Turner again? Great segue there, Ryan. Let's plus it in, Jack, because this was a bit of a shocker. I know Preller and Seidler, they're going to do whatever they want to do, right? But so I'd figure they check in on everybody.
Yeah. But
this report, Dennis Lin and Ken Rosenthal from the Athletic, posted that they actually met with shortstop Trea Turner twice.
Shortstop Trea Turner
twice. Say that 5 times fast.
Selling seashells by the seashore.
Exactly. But they met with him twice ahead of the winter meetings. It has seemed to, I don't know, the way. The talking heads throughout baseball have said, oh, well, the Phillies are the front runner. He wants to play on the East Coast. That's been the thing for a while now. So I have not thought of Trea Turner as a possibility. Also, it's kind of weird because we traded him for Will Myers, but Preller.
Preller's like going, the meeting's like, I didn't mean to trade you.
Well, it's a player to be named later, right? So was it kind of like I guess they still negotiated.
Well,
trade.
So he's still waiting to get him back. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. But I guess my question is,
well, to be fair, if say you're in Hawaii, the Padres are technically on the East Coast, so maybe they can convince Turner that if you're in Hawaii, San Diego's east, right? Closer east. Does that work?
No, that's pretty. That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Well, you got to do everything you can.
So they're saying they're saying now again, this is like Twitter I've seen, but apparently the Padres threw out again. This is all conjecture, but the word is a $300 million contract for Trea.
If he really wants to play on the East Coast, I don't think there's any way we outbid the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him going to the Yankees.
No,
nobody wants to go. I mean, there used to be a time when you wanted to play for the Yankees, and I'm not insulting Yankee fans and stuff like that. But let's be honest, the mystique is kind of gone.
Well, I think the fans have. I mean, there was kind of just this whole blowback of this season where in the playoffs they were booing Aaron Judge, pretty viciously when the dude literally carried your team into the playoffs.
Yeah, you don't make the playoffs without Aaron Judge having the year he had. And again, I'm not criticizing.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to the Yankees. Let's just wipe the Yankees.
Yeah, so it's the Phillies, maybe the Mets, but again, playing in Philadelphia is not a cup of tea either.
No,
but those fans can be brutal.
They are, but there's, Bryce Harper, I think, has done really well there, right? Like if you have a certain personality type, I think you could thrive in Philly. You
just can't wear a Santa Claus outfit.
Yeah, exactly. But I also I think for sure East Coast, but this meeting twice, you don't meet twice. I think it even says in this article, unless both sides are interested.
Right. Now could he be who's his agent?
It's not Boris. It's
okay,
like a collective or whatever.
Okay, so if you're trying to jack up the price, because remember, Bryce Harper, even the year they signed Manny Machado, Padres went after Bryce Harper also. Which I was like, that's just crazy, and he was pretty close because he got married in San Diego.
Yep. Well, he's not from here, but he played here, didn't he, or something like that? And travel ball or something.
He looks like he's from California.
Like it was kind of cool because these kids, especially like U.S. players, they've been playing together since they were teenagers, and he knows the Musgrove family. Like he's like, I love Joe, I love the Musgrove. He
knows Blake Snell.
Yeah, exactly. Like they all. And Manny Machado and played together as kids. So
but
all the U.S. players kind of play together since they were like kids. And,
So there was, but was that a ploy to get more money from the Phillies? Because he did get a bigger contract.
You got the 13 years, which gave him the extras that kind of made him the new record contract.
Right. When you look at it breakdown year for year, it's pretty much similar, but he did get extra, money, I guess, whatever it is. Just think what the Padres would be if they had Bryce Harper.
He couldn't have hit the home run against us in game.
No. And it's funny because you think too, it's like, I didn't think we were going to get Manny Machado.
Yeah.
You go back to the time, I'm like going, okay, yeah, whatever. yeah, we're going to sign Manny Machado. And then it started getting closer. I go, are we going to sign Manny Machado?
Hey,
and then when we signed Manny Machado, I was like, holy crap, we signed Manny Machado. We outbid everyone. And this is like Ray Kroc era.
I know, right?
Where Ray Kroc would go out and get Garvey, Gossage, and Fingers and all those players because he had so much money. And I'm like going, okay, what's going on here? And then Bryce Harper, we're not going to get Bryce Harper. We were probably the second team behind the Phillies to get Bryce Harper but if we can get Trea Turner, I'm all in.
Sure.
I'm all in. And it just because he brings what the Padres lacked last year, in my opinion, was speed.
Yep.
They don't manufacture runs. You looked at the Dodgers, they had Mookie Betts, Trea Turner, 1-2. Yep. Anytime those guys got on, you're like going, especially against the Padres, because we can't throw anybody out.
And he had Freeman, who was a contact guy. Like he was putting the ball in play.
Yeah, so these guys are stealing bases, they're running the bases, hit and run, they're manufacturing runs. And that's one problem the Padres had last season. And they did it more towards in the playoffs. They did do a little more of it, but during the regular season, how many times do you sit there and go, okay, hit the ball the opposite way. You got to run it at second. They just lack that.
Yes.
So I think if you get a Trea Turner and getting Tatis back, right there, those are two speedy guys and guys that know how to run the bases, and they can hit. Because we also, our hitting at time would just go into the tank. If Machado wasn't hitting, especially at the beginning of the season, because it was basically Machado, maybe a little bit of Cronenworth, nobody, and Profar, nobody else was hitting. So I'm sign me up for getting Trea Turner.
So my question then is, do you say you get him? There's there's two kind of. They're showing up in the Twitterverse. So again, grain of salt kind of thing here. But there's two things that I thought was kind of interesting that I don't necessarily like. That some execs have said Cronenworth is a possible trade candidate, and Tatis is a potential trade candidate. Now, again, this is just like an exec, like one exec saying this or here or there or whatever. But thoughts on, you get Turner, and we'll talk about Bryan Reynolds in a second. But do you move? Well, Cronenworth is maybe the less shocking one, but do you move Tatis? I don't think you trade him. Like, I don't know how you trade him. He's a generational talent. Yes, he's been a bonehead.
Yeah, he's got a lot. People are just like saying, "Well, Tatis isn't going to want to play the outfield." I go, Tatis really doesn't have a choice.
Yeah,
yes. Tatis has to recoup. He has to. He had such a positive influence on so many fans because I think we talked about it last episode. Because people wanted to watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
They're like I said. I went to Pittsburgh. We went to Washington. How many people were walking around? Not as many in Washington because he just got suspended.
Sure,
but in Pittsburgh,
we didn't wear our Tatis jerseys.
No, I had it. I left my Tatis jersey at home. I said, I'm not going to listen to that crap. But in Pittsburgh, I did wear mine. Yeah. And even though he wasn't playing, and there's tons of kids there wearing Tatis jerseys. So he has, if he's smart,
kids love him.
Kids love him, and people will forget if he comes back and performs the way he has in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Padre fans will forget. I know there's some Padre fans still bitter because they think, okay, if we had Tatis, we'd probably win the World Series. We don't know.
Yeah.
But, he did let everybody down last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it was bad enough, the injuries, but then to have the PED thing is like, oh, come on. What? I mean, I thought it was a joke.
Yep.
I said, come on, this isn't true. No way.
Yeah.
So if Tatis is smart, he's 23. He comes back and says, look, I'll play wherever you want me to play.
Exactly.
I think he's going to play a lot of DH, to be honest with you.
Again, I mean, if you think about it, he's coming back for multiple surgeries. He's going to be DHing for a while. So, this is like a prudent move just in the sense that, shortstop, whatever, it's going to take him a while to be on the field, period, outside of DHing. So,
and he's had a problem since he's come up playing every day.
Yeah. So, I think that's something to remember too with, the Spogarts or Turner situation. The other side of that is, do you move Cronenworth? And, Ryan, big fan of the Crone zone, but he could move according to him. I disagree. Like, I feel like he is, yes. Is it frustrating when he sits there and watches, strikes 1, 2, or 3 go by without, lifting the bat off his shoulder? Yes. But, I go back to the playoffs where it's just, he just has that it thing that's the kind of player you want in a game that matters. And I don't know. Like I would hate to move on.
Again, Cronenworth and Grisham were doing the same thing last year. And at one point, Cronenworth said, okay, this isn't working.
Yeah.
And he became more aggressive earlier in the count. Grisham, it took to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Before
the first 2 series, and then he just disappeared again.
Yeah, he disappeared again.
Championship series.
But Cronenworth is a guy. He's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
He's maybe going to make $4 million next year.
Yeah,
and he's
just a guy.
He's got a great. Again, we say this all the time. He should win the gold. He should have won the Gold Glove. He's to me, he's that good. He makes plays that a lot of second basemen can't make.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a smart player. So I wouldn't trade him, but I've seen rumors that we're going to package a deal to get Burns from Milwaukee. Well, okay. And Cronenworth is part of the trade. You're like, all right.
Well, if you get Burns, sure.
Burns, okay. Well, I mean, it obviously would have to be more than just that, but it's like, okay, if I can get a pitcher of the caliber of Burns, because we still need pitching. We're talking about all this hitting. Still need pitching. Like I've been having arguments with people, not arguments, but debates on Twitter because some people want to trade. I talked about last time. Hader. I'm like, why would you trade Hader? Why?
Yep. This is a source told Cavanese from San Diego Union Tribune this offseason that a move for a shortstop likely would involve trading another middle infielder. That executive specifically mentioned the possibility Jake Cronenworth could be made available, but stopped short of saying San Diego is looking to trade him.
Well, here's the deal. You can't trade both Cronenworth and Tatis.
No.
because those are two of the most popular players on the team.
Cronenworth, I'd argue, second to Tatis, or it's like
Manny's there.
Yeah, Tatis, Manny, Musgrove, Cronenworth, and Kim, or you put Kim above Cronenworth? But Kim,
I put Cronenworth. Everyone loves Kim because he's just a go-getter. He's one of those guys you look at and go, okay, all right, yeah, he's just got that great attitude, and he's improved. First season, second season, he had a much better year.
Yeah,
and I expect even a better year. But he could be traded too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're looking for a starting shortstop or second baseman, of course Cronenworth is a guy too. He could play both. But Kim is another guy. But Cronenworth is cheaper than Kim.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like it. You can't field an entire team of $300 million plus players, right?
I would think not, but at this point, who knows?
I mean, I guess there is a sense that there's this insurance for Manny Machado opting out, right? Like you're getting.
That's one thing they're looking at. I don't see I think the Padres would go, okay, look, we're going to up your contract.
Or maybe just extend it, like keep you at whatever you're at, but maybe, tack on a couple years or something.
Yeah, tack on. I mean, I don't know if you want to tack on a couple years because at the end of his contract, he'd be, 38?
No, I thought he was like 36 when he was done because he only has 5 more years left. Or no, 6 more. Is it 6 more years? And he just turned 36.
So 36. Do you want to tack on a couple more years?
But you tack on a couple of years that, like, I don't know, 5 mil, 10 mil, like, it's like
he's not going to do that. I mean, you're saying per season.
I don't know, just something. Maybe you wait till you get to that point. But at that point, the 36 to 40 years old, hopefully, if he plays that long, that's his milestone years. That's his 3,000 hits. That's his 500 home runs. That's his, Hall of Fame lock moments. The Padres are going to want. You haven't had those since Hoffman, and even Hoffman had some of his with the Brewers. But you're going to want some of those happen in a Padre uniform.
Well, I get that, but if the Padres are winning is going to be more important than someone setting a record.
That's true.
If the Padres
I'm old Padres fan.
Yeah, exactly. You got to start thinking. Okay, if the Padres build a competitive team year after year, and it's going to be, you can't keep trading the farm system.
Sure.
And to get some of these players we're talking about, we're going to have to trade what's left of the farm system to get them. So, I'd love to see Manny finish his career here. I love Manny. He's been. I mean, I know a lot of people outside of San Diego don't like him, but he's been nothing. But a perfect model citizen since he's grown up.
And, and sure, there's things that you could absolutely say with the Orioles or the Dodgers weren't great. But even then, there was still like things that made him beloved in his clubhouse. Like, he was a shortstop, but he came up, but there was a vet, I can't remember his name, at short. And he was like, okay, fine. You've been here longer. You're the anchor. I'll go to third base. You don't do that if you aren't a good teammate,
and his teammates love him. And that's what I always tell people. I go, look, you've never heard his teammates bash him when he's left. And that's, to me, the key. It doesn't matter what the fans think or what the writers think. It's what do the players who you're playing with. That's all that matters when it comes down to your teammates. Yeah. And I have never heard anyone say that he's played with. I've heard opposing players.
Sure.
But I've never heard anyone he's played with say, I would never want to play with him.
Yeah. Agreed. Let's go into some conjecture territory here, Jack. Because this just dropped today, Bryan Reynolds has requested a trade from the Pirates.
He's such a good actor and so funny. I'm sorry. I got my Reynolds mixed up.
Oh my God. So
come on, every time you hear Bryan Reynolds, don't you think Ryan Reynolds?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So the
I'm sure Casino Skunk is laughing at that.
He may have left. You may have lost him.
Okay,
but the Pirates have either responded saying that we're disappointed or whatever he had to say, or that he wants to be traded, but we're here to try to field a competitive team in 20. Basically, which they're probably just trying to up his trade value or whatever, or they're not going to trade him for nothing. But Preller has had his eyes on Reynolds before. There's been deals that never got finished or done, have gotten finished with Bryan Reynolds involved. With the winter meetings coming up, is this the time to strike?
If you can get a Ryan Reynolds, I mean, sorry, Brian.
Stop it.
Shoot,
See, why are you doing this?
I need to F word. Apologize for that. I'm sorry, I forgot. If you can get Bryan Reynolds, again, like Trea Turner, I like Grisham, but this guy, I know he's going to hit. I mean, I have him on my fantasy team. He started
hot and cold, though. He's had up and down seasons.
Well, but he started out really slow last year. I mean, really, at one point I'm like going, why am I keeping him? And I almost cut him. And he finished with a 281 average, a 262 average, 27 homers, 7 stolen bases, 62 RBIs. Now, remember, too, he doesn't really have that much hitting around him. They have a few good players.
Yeah.
But it's not a consistent lineup. And he's a great defensive outfielder. Again, has power, he has speed.
Yeah, he's a center fielder.
Grisham had 16 stolen bases last year, which you say, well, but we don't, players don't use, you're not getting 100 stolen bases per season anymore like you used to in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I would trade for him.
Yeah.
And again, I don't blame him. I mean, this reminds me of, the Pirates are like the Padres were for so long. They have great players and they just go, you knew you were going to, it wasn't if you were going to lose them, it was win. And you knew they'd get tired. I mean, people say they just want the money. No, most players want to play for a winner. They want to win.
They want money and they want to play for a winner. Like they want
nobody wants to go to work knowing you're going to lose.
Yes.
I mean, Pittsburgh.
Unless you're Jacob deGrom.
Yeah. if you got, Pittsburgh, unfortunately, when I was a kid, Pittsburgh Pirates were one of the best teams in baseball.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were a team who, you
won a lot of games. You had Roberto Clemente years, you had the We Are Family years. Like
Willie Stargell, you had Dave Parker, you had, great pitchers and stuff like that. But they've not been that way since they had Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time they were, the Pirates.
They had Andrew McCutchen. They had that little.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
But
even he left, they didn't keep
they signed a first baseman, I forget who it was, to like a $6.5 million, was it Gonzalez or from Seattle? And I'm like going, and he's like 38 years old, 36. I'm like going, okay, I don't get that.
So he's requested the trade.
Right.
And to your point, don't blame them because they're not a good. I mean, they're that level of team where this proves why you should have a minimum cap. Have a max cap, minimum cap, because they're just taking money from all the other teams and not spending it on the team.
Well, no, you have to. They're spending it on the team, but the money you get from that you have to use somewhere in your organization. Now, if it's building, if it's paying for bonuses for foreign players or something like that, technically I mean I don't know how they audit it, but you have to use that money on your team. But you should, again, we've seen if you can. I think the rule should be if you finish over 500, it doesn't matter what your payroll is. But if you're consistently under 500, in fact, I'd put in a rule in, if you finish under 500 5 years in a row, you don't get the money.
Yeah. Or, I love it is World Cup right now. Sorry, US, but I love the relegation idea too, of just like the worst teams, you go to a sub major league and you got to work your way back up.
I don't think that would ever,
it'll never fly. It'll never fly.
But I'm saying there should be some kind, if you consistently, can you look at Tampa Bay? They consistently have one of the lower payrolls in baseball, but yet, and they're in the
Guardians as well.
Yeah. The Guardians, and they're in one of the toughest divisions.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay with, Yankees and Boston's usually pretty good, and Toronto. But if you can be competitive without spending the money, all right, we're not going to punish you. But like if you're the Pirates and like the old Padres, and you consistently finish under 500, because you're hurting the rest of the team. Because remember, other team, I think we talked about this last time. When teams come, when you go on the road, the home team gets 60%.
Yeah.
And the road team gets 40%. Well, if the Pirates come to town, obviously a team like San Diego, who's filling up their stadium now, Dodgers,
sure,
that doesn't matter. But if you go to Kansas City,
Yeah.
All right. That's just you're both losing money on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So there should be some kind of punishment.
But what do you think? Do you think Preller pulls this off, or is this a bridge too far? I mean, this is a lot of bats when we still need pitching. We need 2 more pitchers.
Oh, easily. You can never have. That's why I keep going with the bullpen. And people say, "Oh, we have Swart." I go, it doesn't matter. You still have to have.
Yeah, you need arms.
Yeah, you need arms because it's a 162 game season.
Yeah.
If do you trade Merrill? For
no,
Reynolds?
we just got another like hot prospect. We're ever gonna keep one of them?
Now, what about prospects? It's no guarantee.
You're right, but hey, Trea Turner was a prospect that we traded.
Well, okay. You can throw that one in my face.
Max Fried. Max Fried, anyone?
Okay, all right, okay. All right, there's
Josh
a long.
Taylor.
Okay,
like the amount of former Padres, like young up and comers that are like legit baseball players across the league is kind of
the Cleveland reliever. Which is it? Klaus. He's on my fantasy team. I can't remember the names. Drawing a blank on it. But yeah, I get that, and
but
I don't know. I mean, again, if you sign Trea Turner, you could put him in center, and Tatis in left, and keep Kim. You put Trea Turner in center.
You put Turner in center. I like him as an infielder more than
he's played there. He played there for a while when he first came up.
Oh yeah,
and you put Grisham. Well, he's small, but he's got a strong arm. He's
he's got speed. Yeah,
he's got speed, and you put Tatis in left.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep Kim at short.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You keep Cronenworth at second, but now you still need a first baseman.
You still need a first baseman in that scenario. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I don't think Bryan Reynolds is going to happen, but it's a nice thought but we do have other needs.
Well, I hope he doesn't go to the Dodgers because they need a center fielder.
Yeah, they do.
Because
the Dodgers
they let Bellinger.
With Gavin Lux as their shortstop, so that's almost. With I don't know if you saw that Dave Roberts saying, if Trea doesn't re-sign, it is shocking. But I do want to end on this one. Speaking of the Dodgers,
I think if Trea Turner was going to sign, he would sign. He would have signed already with the Dodgers.
I agree. This showed up on TikTok, I believe. But this gentleman, is the sound not coming through? Hold on, let me get the.
I don't go for the Padres.
Oh my gosh, Padres.
I don't go for the Padres.
He's wearing a Padre hat.
But
He just wears it to wear it,
I
babe.
go for the Dodgers.
you wear it because you
He
don't like them?
Yeah.
He just likes the hat.
Oh my gosh, Padres.
So a Dodger fan, it looks like it's at a fair or something like that, wearing a Padres hat just because he likes the hat, but he's still a Dodgers fan.
I could go, hey. I could say, hey, the Dodgers have the best uniforms in baseball. Love their hats.
Yes.
You'd have to put it on my dead body,
right?
Before I walk around wearing it. And I have a lot of friends who are Dodger fans.
But
there's no way. There is no way I'm wearing it. I like the hat. Come on, dude. Turn in your baseball card.
Yeah, right. I feel like
get a UPS hat. Jesus, I mean, what are you thinking?
Or get a Cleveland Browns hat, maybe. Like, I'm trying to think of what other analysts.
Well, Browns hats are more orange, but it's just
that's true. Or just get a brown hat and get an LA on it or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, it's just especially the Padres. Like, I could see maybe another team that's not even in your division. You don't care about them, whatever. But yeah, it's never. Ever.
That is brutal. I mean, I'm sorry. And then I know the Dodger fans, you're not our rival. I don't want to be your rival.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? I don't care.
I think in an interview, Roberts said the Game 5 loss in the NLDS to the Padres hurt just as bad as the Game 7 loss of the 2017 World Series to the Astros. Yeah,
well,
rivalry.
Dave Roberts, as manager, knows a lot of hard losses. A lot of tough losses. He's a San Diego guy. But since he's become a Dodger, he's kind of turned into I don't know.
Well, he still lives in San Diego, so
I know, but I like him, and
I like him too. I'm nothing
he's
against
kind
him.
of he's kind of become a whiner Dodger guy.
Ralph says they make Dodger hats and Padres colors. Exactly. But again, I feel like if you're a Dodger fan, you do not wear colors of the Padres or the Giants, right? You just don't do that.
Exactly.
And again, Dodgers is an iconic uniform.
You don't see Yankee fans walking around in Red Sox hats and vice versa. You don't see Red Sox fan going, I just like the way the Yankee hats look. You don't see that. It's come on, man.
Oh my God! All right, well
that's disgusting.
It's listen, Dodger fans,
Yeah, what are you gonna do with them? No one ever claimed they're the most knowledgeable fans in baseball.
Oh my God! All right, Jack, I think that'll do it for this special weekend edition of Padres Talking Padres. Still no big moves yet. I mean, there's a lot of things percolating.
Something's gonna happen next week.
Yeah, something's got to happen.
With the Grom signing for that, I mean, Verlander went, yeah.
And can we then just appreciate Preller and Sealer for locking up Musgrove on a team-friendly deal for 5 years, getting Suarez locked in, Martinez. Come on, you're telling me what we got Martinez for? That he could have gotten more than Clevenger and was it Zach Eflin? Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's just
so
great move because at first you're like going, okay. Yeah. But the market is out. I mean, to give to Grom, I think that's a huge risk.
It is
for the Rangers. But
the Rangers are. I mean, you don't get Bruce Bochy unless you're gonna say go for it.
Yes, Bruce Bochy's got to be 70, right?
69. You dragged him out of retirement, and he's not coming out of retirement to field a loser. So
no way, because he has a legacy.
Yeah. Ralph says right, but you can feel safer at Petco if you're a Dodger fan. No.
Well, you to be fair, you feel safer at Petco if you're a Dodger fan than at Dodger Stadium.
Oh yeah, but I've been a Padres fan at Dodgers. Actually, Ryan and I, we went to a game a year ago as Dodger fan or Padres fans at the Dodger game, and he smartly wore his All-Star Tatis jersey, that ugly blue and red one. So yeah, he played it better than me.
What I'm saying is if you watch YouTube, search fights at Dodger Stadium, it's a lot of Dodger on Dodger.
Oh yeah,
crimes.
Just Dodger fans.
So it's like, okay, it's not safe to go there. They had a fight at the Elton John concert.
Yeah,
I mean, at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah,
or was it SoFi? No, it was Dodger Stadium.
No, it was Dodger Stadium. It was Dodger
Stadium. Come on, people. It's Elton. Who fights at an Elton John concert? Oh, Dodger.
Well, Saturday night's all right for fighting, and I think it was Saturday night. So
Saturday night's all right.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for hanging out. Hit the subscribe and bell icon so you don't miss our next video. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye. Take care, everybody.